It's recap time. Let's get into it. The current narrative in the basketball community is that the NBA is dying. I've been preaching this since 2019 on this channel, making various videos saying that the NBA is broken, that the league is worse every year, and that Adam Silver needs the boot. Now all of a sudden, everybody is jumping on the bandwagon and is suddenly talking about this. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. JJ Rec is giving his thoughts. Guys like Nick Wright and Colin Card are giving their thoughts. ESPN debate shows are endlessly talking about it. LeBron James is giving his own perspective, and it seems every YouTuber is making a video about it too. Adam Silver chimed in and gave us thoughts on the matter, and you'll not be surprised to find out that I was annoyed by his comments like, "Usually am." Listen, I'm going to make a dedicated video specifically to this topic because there's just too many aspects to cover in a general recap video. But I will say this whenever somebody brings up the NBA's declining ratings. Everybody brings up something that they don't like about the league, and they have their own theory about why. The viewership has gone down, some will say. It's because of the flopping. Some say it's the soft refs giving out technicals too easily. Some say it's the load managing, the three-point spamming, the disrespect to previous eras, and soon some say it's because LeBron is a non-likable face of the league. They ruined the All-Star game. Some hate super teams and are sick of the traveling, no one plays defense anymore. And then there are fans who say that they just can't afford to watch with all the insane NBA packages with various blackouts. What you never hear someone say is that they have no idea why the NBA viewership is down because everything about the league is great. No, the truth is, everyone has their own major critiques, and when seemingly everyone has something that makes them upset about your product generally, their reality is, you're not putting forth every good product, so hopefully the masses waking up and talking about, this will lead to some major changes that improve the league, but I'll believe it when I see it. So let's conclude this rant and get on to some of the WNC court updates. So the Milwaukee Bucks took on the OKC Thunder in the NBA Cup Final, and it wasn't much of a game as the Bucks were up by 20 points with roughly 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Ultimately, the Bucks closed it out with a final score of 97-81 as they won the second annual NBA Cup championship. As expected, Giannis led the way as he had an insane triple-double of 26 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists. Let me know in the comments section if you care or not about the NBA Cup, and I'm most curious to hear from the Bucks fans. Seeing how you guys just won it, one of the most anticipated matchups over the past week was the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks. And this one was especially exciting because we got to see two guys going against their former teams, as in Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns, who had been traded for one another this past offseason. It was very thrilling at the beginning as Randle was extremely hot and dropped 15 points in the first quarter. Ben Cat responded with his own thrilling surge as he dropped 19 points in the second quarter alone. And that's where New York really blew open their lead at the end of the night. It belonged to the Knicks as they won the game 133-107. Cat emphatically won the individual matchup as he finished with 32 points, 20 rebounds, and 6 assists. Onan insane, 10 of 12 shooting and 5 off 5 from three-point range. T-Wolves fans, I got to ask you, you're roughly a third into the season and you're floating around a 500 record. Are you guys regretting the decision to trade Cat, or is it too early to SW sweat? It let me know below out in Texas. The Spurs continued to improve upon last season as they defeated the Atlanta Hawks, 133-126. Wimmy was a beast as he dropped 42 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks on 54% shooting from the field. After an extremely hot stretch, the Hawks have now come back to earth and have lost 3 out of their last 4 games. Things are starting to get very ugly. In Golden State, after a hot and surprising start to the season, the Dubs are now on a 3-game losing streak and have lost 9 out of their last 11 games. Thursday night was especially brutal as they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies by a whopping 51 points. The entire Warriors team shot a putrid 35.6% from the field. On the night, it was quite possibly the worst game of Steph Curry's career, as he had 2 points on Oro 7 shooting from the field, 3 rebounds, 1 assists, and 2 turnovers, while having a plus-minus of -41. To be fair, he wasn't alone in the misery as Draymond Green. Also, may have had the worst game of his career. Ashy had 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 1 steal, 0 blocks, 4 turnovers, 4 fouls on 0 of 4 shooting. Yikes. Originally, the Warriors were looking at the NBA trade market ASA Road. They could potentially go down. But with things getting as ugly as it has, it's starting to feel like they no longer have a choice, if you ask me. They must shake things up by the trade deadline. Let's move down south, and if you're out in Phoenix anytime soon, it might be the perfect time to catch a Suns game, as the team announced that nearly all of their concession items, the hot dogs, water sodas, chips, and popcorn, will each be only $2 per item. They're basically doing the Costco thing, where they're operating their food at a loss, hoping that it will please their fans and generate more revenue in other areas. I got to say, I'm looking for excuses to go out to Arizona sometime soon, because this was a really cool move by their owner, at a time when people will take all the help they can get. As far as the Suns on the court, they're just above a 500 record. But the good news is that KD continues to prove that he's still that guy, as he dropped 37 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists, albeit in a 9-point loss to the Indiana Pacers. Sitting at the top of the Western Conference is the OKC Thunder, and they're really beginning to separate themselves as they have won 7 straight games with an NBA Best 11 road wins. SGAA continues to strengthen his case for the MVP trophy as he's leading the best team in the West in a stacked conference while scoring at least 30 points in 11 out of his last 14 games. Speaking of MVP hopefuls, Luka Doncic is now storming into the conversation as he's been on fire since returning from his wrist injury a few weeks ago against the Warriors. This past Sunday, he erupted for 45 points, 11 rebounds, and 13 assists on a remarkable 16 of 23 from the field. He's been a bit dinged up lately, but he's got his team sitting in a great playoff spot as they're starting to find their groove. Here's a look at the current NBA standings, and here is a look at Thelatest MVP power rankings according Tunba. Come, so now is your turn. What stood out to you in the last week of the NBA, and what would you do if you were the commissioner in order to get the NBA viewership back up? Let me know below. Thanks for watching. As always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.